Now, Quantum Foods faces a call for the second time this year for a shareholders meeting to consider replacing certain directors. The poultry company's share price performance this year has been astonishing, but after interviewing CBH CEO Brendan de Boer, the Financial Mail reports chickens could be coming home to roost. CBH holds a nearly 18% stake in Quantum and has been calling for a review of governance issues. Financial Mail editor Marc Hasenfuss joins us now to crack the Quantum quandary. Thank you so much for your time, Marc. So much to crack there. And I actually just want you to lay down the table for us on the main players here, because we know that Country Bird Holdings is the third largest shareholder, and then Braemar second largest. Who's the first one? And I know that there's a new one that's coming, Sovereign Foods, if I'm not mistaken, and also the Quantum Management as well.
Yeah, so look, CBH at one stage had 31%, in fact.
Yeah.
They retreated a while back, and now they're sitting back on 18 after buying out Astral Foods. Then you've got a big shareholder in Braemar, which is a Zimbabwean-based company linked to the tobacco barons, the Rudland family. And then you've got Silver Street or Aristotle. It's got various nominee names, but they've got about 54%. They popped up at Crooks Brothers as well, another agribusiness in the JSE. They're the biggest shareholder, and management have a significant stake. There's been some pretty big buying by some of the senior guys, the chairman included. And there is a rumor, this has not been confirmed, that Sovereign Foods might be involved. Possibly it's Sovereign Foods partners or something, but they have been mentioned in the mix by various people in the know.
Yeah.
So it's quite an interesting little cocktail happening there at the moment.
Well, Marc, it's quite interesting because, I mean, before CBH came out and was vocal now wanting a shareholders meeting, before then it was Braemar. And there seems to be this narrative that there's this camp of Braemar and CBH, and then maybe the Quantum Management together with Sovereign. But where does Aristotle / Silver Street stand here?
That's I suppose the big question.
Yeah.
At the moment, they've got an investment in Quantum. To be honest, I think they've done fairly well out of it. Maybe the time's up. They're a private equity company. Maybe they need to exit. Depends who they exit to. Can someone buy a stake that big? I don't know. Would CBH be keen to buy it? Yes, possibly. There might be other buyers. Obviously, the Quantum Management probably don't want to interloper a rival company, although CBH have gone on record saying they don't want to do a takeover, which I do find curious, because what are you doing there anyway? Are you looking at certain assets? Is it a strategic investment you're just going to hold? It's all curious, and I think a lot will come out in the upcoming meeting if they have that meeting, if they actually agree to the shareholders meeting. And just by the way, this morning, CBH put out another notice saying that they don't want the director they've just nominated, who's an ex-Pioneer Foods director. He's been brought on board. Sorry, apologize for that. Pete Berger. He's kind of seen as an insider, I guess, and CBH don't want that to happen. So there's a lot of ructions happening. The meeting's going to be most interesting. I think quite a tense affair if it does happen, and I would love to just be there and listen in. It's going to be most intriguing.
Well, does it look like it's going to happen? Because, I mean, CBH is now the second shareholder to call for a shareholders meeting, and that's after the one that was requested by Braemar was actually denied, which then led to this whole saga around Tanya Golden.
Yes. Look, also remember that CBH had previously called for a meeting as well. This happened, I think, last year. They were denied. So were Braemar on the same grounds, legal issues, not really specific, but legal issues. This time it's a little bit different. The reaction's been different. They've said, yes, they will advise about a meeting if it's going to be held. So it seems, maybe I'm reading too much between the lines, but it does seem they're more open-ended about it this time. Maybe the meeting will happen. I think with the golden matter in court and those questions being asked about the issuing the legal reasons for not having those meetings, it brings things into the open. So maybe they've got to be a bit more receptive this time to CBH. We'll just have to wait and see.
Marc, I know that the share price has been boosted by all this corporate action. And actually, I think one of the last few times that CBH spoke was that they were talking about how much the share price has gone up because of all this buying activity that has gone on this year. But is it not disingenuous for CBH to call out the boosting of the share price due to corporate action when also they've kind of, played a hand in that? And is it actually wrong for all the share price action to be going on if it's not based on, some hidden profit secret information?
Yeah, look, if I was a minority shareholder in Quantum, I would have been ecstatic. I would have bailed out my shares so quickly, got out of there. And I think hopefully some people did do that.
Yeah.
But yes, it's a very liquid share. So if someone had to build a position, if it's a strategic decision to fend off a predatory party, let's call it,
yeah,
they're going to have to pay up. And that's what's happened. And that share went very high. I think it went as high as 1850. That puts a very big market value on that company. And there's no ways you could justify it. I mean, Quantum has been an uneven business. It's well run. Remember, there's some smart people there. It's an agri-business. Let's be honest, they're going to hit by cycles. They're going to hit by all kinds of things. Avian flu, their eggs got hit a couple of years ago. So, yes, it can't justify a high rating, but it's happened.
Yeah.
And I think that's a bit of a problem. And I think you raise a very good point. I mean, if CBH want to unlock value, how do you possibly unlock value when the share price is already too high?
Yeah.
So, there's got to be another reason they're interested. I do suspect maybe there's some assets. I think maybe the African assets interest them. I think they fit in quite nicely with what CBH have got already. I'm not so sure the egg business. I don't think anyone really wants that. Might just be sold to a player who's in that field already. It's not a great business. It has good years in a while, and then the rest of the time it's not great. The feeds business is what it is. It's a decent business, and CBH have got a feeds business, so maybe there's some synergy there. So, as I say, a lot will come out in the wash. It's going to be interesting to watch it in such a small company for such a lot of action. It's quite bizarre.
So at this point, is Quantum Foods, the management, just outright avoiding a complete takeover at this point?
Yeah, so I did reach out to Andre Honeycomb, and I've known Andre for a long time back. He was the guy who put together, Sasco and Bocom to form Pioneer years ago. He's a very smart guy, and he's very, very underrated. I mean, I think Andre's, underappreciated. He's a smart guy. He knows the food business. So whatever reasons they've got, and as I say, they're not talking about it now for wanting to stave off people. I would still like to hear that side of the story. I think it's very important to hear what they're up to, what their strategy is going forward. And hopefully when they have this meeting, that's all going to be articulated, because I think that is critical at this point.
All right. We will be keeping our ears to the ground on this. Thank you so much for giving us the insight and the history behind those boardroom wars there, Marc. That was Marc Hasenfuss, editor for Financial Mail.